Pause for thought and join in the barking with Darren Rowe on The Mindful Dog.
Joining me in our Hamilton studios, Darren is there right now. Good morning to you, Darren.
Good morning, Mel. How are you today?
Very well, and you've got your wife with you as well.
I have, yeah. I've got my wife Puppies here today. She's going to talk about something very exciting that we're doing at the moment.
Excellent. Well, let's start talking. We'll talk about the special dog mum in your life soon. Let's start, though, with this is the last week of the school holidays, so kids are back to school. We're dragging out the lunch boxes from their bags and potentially throwing them away if they're so mouldy that you can't even scrub it off, which is what I had to do. But dogs have back to school separation anxiety as well, don't they?
Yeah, it's a bit like if we can remember back to that horrible time when we had lockdown and suddenly our dogs were had everybody there all the time, and then we left and we went back to work. And
dogs loved lockdown, didn't they?
Oh, it was amazing. They got so much attention, didn't they? But when we left, suddenly they didn't. And I got so many phone calls of people with their dogs' behaviour being really bad and naughty and all that kind of stuff. And it was mainly because they got used to this constant attention, and then suddenly it wasn't there, and that transition wasn't there for them. So it was all or nothing, and that was a little bit too much for them to cope with. And it's a bit the same when it comes to school holidays. So
what sort of behaviours would we be looking at?
Oh, so you might notice your dog in the last, because obviously we're back to school tomorrow, some of us, and we might notice that our dogs are starting to get a little bit more agitated, so they're jumping up more, they're trying to get our attention more, and over the next few days you'll find that behaviour will start to ramp up. They'll start to sort of scratch us and bark at us, and you might get that demand barking, chewing, all those kind of sort of separation things. You might get a few complaints from the council because your dog's suddenly barking loads when you leave it, and they don't normally do that. So it can be really quite bad. People need to realise that dog's an animal, and it has to transition a little bit, not just sudden sharp transitions.
And they need attention too. So how can you help your dog then sort of transition through these school holidays?
Yeah, so today is the day to do it, really. In a perfect world, we'd be doing it a few days before this, but maybe for the next holiday. But what you need to do is you need to think about your routine. So our routines generally when we go into our holidays, they change them. We would get up later because we probably had a bit of a later night, and we might just be a lot slower in the morning, and normally we'll be up at 6 or 5 o'clock in the morning. The dogs are fed, they're out, ready for us to get ready for work, and that's a massive change, isn't it, for your dog when they suddenly don't get up till 7 or 8 o'clock. So we want to start easing that routine back into normal. Dogs are all about routine, and if you don't have that routine, they get agitated, they get anxious. So maybe wake up in the morning a little bit earlier. God forbid, we wake up in our holidays at 6 o'clock. I know. But hey, a little bit of pain for us, maybe 1 or 2 days, is probably going to be a lot better than council complaints and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? So,
absolutely.
So try and ease back into that routine.
And what about if you don't want to get up early? Could you perhaps get up early and put the radio on so they've got some voices around them?
You can always get one of those timers. That's if you really are not
even better
to get up. Yeah, you can get those timers that just turn the radio on about 6:30. That would be a good idea. But there's nothing better, is there, than getting up, because it's nice to wake up in the morning fresh, isn't it? And also it's better for you because then suddenly that Monday morning isn't a sudden crazy sort of got to get up and rush around. And your dog would appreciate it if they see you first thing in the morning as well. And there's nothing better, is there, than seeing that lovely, lovable face.
What, our face or their face? Are you talking about the dog or are you talking about me? Yeah, I must admit, one of the life's small pleasures is getting up in the morning, just chucking on some exercise gear and taking the dog for a walk, dragging the dog, because she's like a poodle lotion cross. So she's 10, so she loves to walk. It's always the best day ever. You take her out, it's like, best day ever, I'm going for a walk. But by the time you hit the coffee shop, which is literally 3 minutes away, she's already, this is the best day ever, but I'm ready to go home now. This is time. But it's fun, and it is one of life's little pleasures. So I guess you have to prepare for those sort of heightened emotions that your dog might have as well.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you imagine that, I've done a lot of work this week with kids and families, obviously, because of the holidays, and the kids, you can't calm a child down. They're excited. That's just the way it is. And they're over the top with dogs. They unfortunately mess up all your behaviours. One little tip, actually, if you're training your dog and you've got kids, just before you go to bed or before the dog goes to bed, just reaffirm that training whilst the kids have gone, and then that'll be the last thing they remember. It just helps them to sort of put it all in place, because kids mess up behaviours because they're very hard to control themselves. So if you're trying to teach your dog not to jump on people and then the kids just go and let them jump all over them, it's really hard. So what you want to do is you want to try and get the kids to maybe not have as much contact with the dog before they go back to school, maybe a few days beforehand.
Good luck with that.
Ease off. Yeah, but you can do that by keeping the dog outside for a little bit longer maybe, or putting it in a pen or a crate so they don't have the access to the dog, just to give the dog a break from that constant attention. But it is quite a hard one, definitely, but it's well worth it. Because otherwise you're going to have all sorts of problems.
Yeah, we don't want those dramas. 0800 844 747 is the number if you have a question for dog behaviourist Darren Rowe, Mindfulness for Dogs. 3920 is a text. And we do have a caller for you, Darren. Mary, morning to you.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Good morning. We're about to adopt a 2-year-old Irish Wolfhound cross dog, about 26 kilos.
Wow.
And he's almost perfect in every way for our farm, except that he's developed a behaviour. He used to live on a farm and the family moved to a small town, and he can climb over 6-foot wooden fences.
Ooh.
Now, we have a property that's well fenced for our 28-kilo beardie, but if he can climb that high, we can't have that.
Yeah, so just because...
Do you have any ideas about how we could train him against climbing?
Yeah, so just because he was a climber when he was at his old house doesn't mean he's going to necessarily at your house. That's one thing to think about, yeah? And the main reason, because we've got to think about, well, why was he trying to climb out? He probably could have potentially not been happy where he was, so he was trying to get out of the boundaries, right?
Yes, it seemed to be when the children were playing outside, and he wanted to get out. And so, you know, his stimulus levels changed dramatically from being from a farm to being in a small property.
Definitely, yeah. So there's always a trigger, and with the sort of rescue dogs, one of the things that they try and do is they try and escape because they don't feel that where they live is their home. So the best thing is to make sure that you really work hard on making where he is the best place in the world. And you say you've got another beardie collie there?
Yes, that's correct.
How old is that?
5.
Okay, so they're likely to play together, and that's likely to then keep this your rescue dog in your home, because there's something more important in the house or in the home than there is outside. So you possibly aren't going to get that behaviour as bad. But what I would do is I would do lots of play. I would do lots of relationship bonding with the dog to make the dog want to be in your property and then not worry about it. The other thing you can do is put the dog on a lead and walk around your boundary and sort of treat sort of in the boundaries, just to say where those boundaries are, but take both dogs so they've got that. Again, they understand where the boundaries are. I don't think you're going to have a lot of problems because you've got another dog there. As long as he doesn't teach your beardie to jump over the fence, we should be good.
If he does attempt to climb out, would we be best to just reprimand him at that stage and distract him, or?
I would try and distract. I wouldn't reprimand because he won't necessarily associate the reprimand with what he's doing. And as far as he doesn't feel like he's doing anything wrong. He's just trying to get somewhere else. Again, I would be, if he just starts to look like he's trying to jump over the fence, I'd be getting a toy out. I'd be calling him back and playing with him loads, and really making coming back to you the best thing in the world, as opposed to what's out there.
Excellent.
Definitely but spend a lot of time just reinforcing everything and making everything really positive around your house, on the deck and all that kind of stuff. And they just want to sit there.
Very good. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Good luck, Mary, and let us know how it goes. That sounds like a great dog, though, doesn't it?
Irish Wolfhound as well. I haven't seen those for a long time.
They're beautiful dogs, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful dogs.
I
Big dogs.
I can imagine you could just step over a 6-foot fence.
I know, because they've got long legs. They're gorgeous, stunning dogs. If you have a question about your dog and your dog's behaviour, now is your chance to get some free advice from Darren Rowe, who is dog behaviourist for Mindfulness for Dogs. You just need to text it, 3920, your question, or better yet, be like Mary and call in. 0800 844 747 is the number. 0800 844 747. Now, Darren, you've also got a tip that we've been talking about dogs and school holidays and sort of how they could be acting up a little bit because we've been, giving them all of this attention, and then all of a sudden tomorrow most people go back to school and everything's back to normal. So you've got a tip, though, to prevent that separation anxiety every day, not just the school holidays.
Yeah, so sorry. So one of the things that I would do would be to, we're all about mindfulness in Mindfulness for Dogs, obviously. So we do a lot of calming and a lot of relaxation around our dogs. And one of the things that what I would recommend people to do is to actually just, a couple of days beforehand, just sit with their dogs and be calm. Okay, and it sounds really silly, but most of the time we we're always doing something, and the dogs are always doing something. But if you sit and just hold your dog's collar and just relax yourself, you'd be amazed how quickly your dog starts to relax with you. Because dogs are a little bit of a mirror of us, so they actually reflect what we do. So when we're excited, they get excited. You just got to think about your kids when they come in after school and they're all excited. The dogs just, energy levels just shoot up, don't they? So if we practice being calm around our dogs before the kids go back to school, then we're more likely to keep that calmness when they do go back to school.
Okay, so just we be calm, and then our dogs are going to be calm as well.
Yeah, and it is that whole mindfulness techniques where we do a few little deep breaths and just calm ourselves down. I always think of my feet. If I'm training dogs with kids, I'm always telling the kids, rather than think of a tree so much, just think about your feet, because it's actually really hard for a young child to think about being a tree, whereas you can think of your feet. And when you think of your feet, you bring your energy levels right down to your feet, and then the dogs sort of just go, oh, well, there's no fun there. I'm not going to jump on you. No point.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
If you have a question for Darren, 0800 844 747 is the number, and we do have one on the line. Daniel, good morning to you.
Yes, g'day. How you doing?
Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, hey, look, we've got a 9-year-old Betty Huntaway. She's a fantastic dog, very calm-natured and great with the cat and the kids and all. Recently, we bought a gorgeous little Border Terrier, who's a Border Terrier. He's fantastic. He's only 5 months old, and he baits the living bajinkas out of our well-behaved Huntaway.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can suggest that we can just calm him a wee bit around her? He's about to head off to training school shortly anyway, but this is just something else we'd rather get onto pretty quick. He just, he just baits her, winds her up, bites her bum and tail and feet and face and all the rest of it.
So what you got to remember is that puppies are bullies, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, but they are. If you look at the behaviour of puppies and older dogs, we always think about protecting our puppies from older dogs, but actually it's the other way around. Especially if we've got a 9-year-old, I think you said.
Yes.
So they're not going to tolerate that kind of behaviour for very long, but most dogs will tolerate puppy behaviour for a certain time, and then when your puppy gets to a certain age, then it's like full on, really sort of quite hard, and it looks really mean. So what you really need to do is have a place where your puppy can go. So we set up a pen and a crate, and even a 5-month-old can go in that, and we give the dog the puppy time out. Sorry?
Sorry, just a bit of excess noise. I didn't need them.
Okay, we give the I thought the dog had done something there.
That's all. Carry on.
Your Border Terrier was taking you as well. So we have a little pen and a crate there, and we put the puppy in that to give the puppy some time out, but also that's to give the older dog some time out, because that's actually what they need.
Yes, we do that. That's exactly what we have been doing, intending the best results out of it.
Yeah, and I would keep doing that. And I'd have set times in the evening and have the puppy in that crate, because then the puppy gets time to the older dog gets time to chill out in the evening, which is really important. The other thing you can do is when you do have them interacting, I wouldn't let them just tear around the house together. I would have the puppy on a lead a little bit more, and I would sort of have maybe 20 minutes on lead, then 20 minutes free, and then 20 minutes again, just to give your old dog a break. What will happen then is your old dog will start to reinforce their boundaries, and then the puppy will start to comply with those, because at the end of the day, you need your puppy to live in your older dog's life. That makes sense with those boundaries.
Yes.
And then they won't get told off. But they will get told off. They will get told off now at the end of the day, and you just got to let that happen. As long as there's no teeth.
Oh yeah. We're not worried at all about our little pup. He's he's a Border Terrier. They're resilient as.
Thick-skinned, yeah, that's right. But they'll tease the older dogs. But just give the older dog a bit of space and time as well. Hope that helps.
It's mostly fun to watch and entertaining because the older dog is quite happy with it all. But yeah, we just worry about her.
There will come a time when your puppy's about 7 to 8 months old, when the older dog will sort of be a little bit harder, set those boundaries a bit firmer.
Okay, all in its natural course, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, good luck, Daniel. I hope that helps out. It sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Combination.
My dog, we've got a cat, and when the cat's only 2 years old, and when the cat was a kitten, the dog and the kitten would just play endlessly for hours, chasing each other around, having a great time. It gave Pepper the dog a new lease of life. Now, though, that the cat is grown up, they don't want to have a bar of each other. Is that normal as well?
Yeah, but cats are quite playful. I suppose all animals, aren't they? They're quite playful when they're between sort of like 20 weeks and up to about maybe 2. And after that, they tend to sort of become adults. And I don't know about you, but I'm not that as playful as I used to be when I was a kid, I'm sure. So I think maybe they sort of change, and that whole interaction. I mean, a 10-year-old's not going to want to get their claws, get a cat's claws in them, are they? So probably giving each other. They may have even had an argument. You never know.
Yeah, they come up and they sniff each other. They meet nose to nose for a while, but then you think, are they going to play? And it's like one of them will walk away. They just don't want to sort of do it anymore.
It's one of those things we think that all dogs play all their life, but actually when they get to a certain age, they just don't want to do it anymore.
Well, she plays a bit, like she'll run rings around the house, but then she's knackered. And it's like, yeah, I can understand that. You do one or two of those these days. Interesting though, with Daniel talking about his 2 dogs, with the young one baiting the older one. I thought that sounds like my children.
Well, I always say that dogs are, if you treat your dogs like 2-year-old kids, you can't go wrong. So,
if you've got a question for Darren Rowe, animal behaviour, about your pet, your dog, then you've got a good chance to get your intel in now. Get some advice for free. 0800 844 747 is the number, and 3920 is a text. Now, Darren, tell us a little bit about this giveaway you've got, celebrating your dog mum.
Well, I'm going to pass over to Puppies, if that's okay, and she can explain it, because she was the sort of brainchild behind all this.
Excellent. So, Puppies, tell us all about it. What's going on?
Atamaria Mel. Hey, look, it's something that's very close to my heart, because as a dog mum myself of 8 dogs that we were looking after at the moment, it's one time in the year that we can actually really reward all the hard work we do as women in the household, not just looking after human children, husbands, and the house and everything else that always seems to fall to women, but also, the lovely dog in your life, because you are the mother of that dog when you take them on, when you adopt them, and there's so much regular daily care, love, attention, cleaning up, all that stuff goes into looking after that dog to make it part of the household and part of the family. So I just think it's really important that we acknowledge, in this day and age, how much effort is going into that every day, and to really celebrate dog mums as well as human mums and cat mums.
Well, that's true. There is a lot of work going into looking after dogs. So what's the giveaway?
Oh, do you know what? Anna Stretton are fantastic. They've just been absolutely wonderful. I walked into my local Anna Stretton shop in Cambridge, and I went and had a chat with them and talked to them about their dog mum T-shirt, because Darren is actually in the good books for me over Christmas, because he came home and he brought me a dog mum T-shirt from the Anna Stretton shop, which I absolutely adore, and it's it has to get washed lots because I wear it so much, because I just love wearing it, because it's just it epitomises me.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous, and it fits really well because that's Anna Stretton standards and quality. And so I walked in and said, do you know what? It would be lovely if we could celebrate dog mums all over New Zealand by having a giveaway of one of your dog mum T-shirts. And we got together with Sammy Stretton, and between us we put together this idea of this Facebook giveaway. And so Anna Stretton have gone a bit further and put something for the fur baby as well. So it's not just for fur mums, dog mums that are going to get something. So it's actually a really lovely way to participate. The giveaway is actually the dog mum T-shirt and some dog treats and Anna Stretton sunglasses. So it's a really lovely package. Something for mum and something for the fur baby. But you have to do something to enter this giveaway. You actually have to send in a picture onto the Facebook post of the dog mum with their fur baby and saying what their names are to enter. So we're encouraging everyone out there who's a dog mum or has a dog mum in their family to get that photograph and upload it in a reply to that Anna Stretton Facebook post.
Right, so you go to Anna Stretton's Facebook post. So you just Google to search Anna Stretton on Facebook?
That's right. Yep, it'll come up. Or you can go onto our Facebook site, Mindfulness for Dogs, and do a search for that. And we've shared that Anna Stretton post on our Facebook site as well.
What a great thing. And also, dog owners have multiple photos of them and their dogs, so that shouldn't be a problem to enter for that. Papi, that's a great idea. Thank you so much for telling us all about that. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on here. Thank you.
Now, Darren, back to you for a moment. We have a caller on the line. Marlene, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marlene.
I've got a 3-year-old little dog who is very well behaved and very good, except she's a runner. And especially when we come back from a walk, she tends to bolt, is the word. But she's very good in the house. She's very intelligent. She was easy to train, But we can't get her out of this bolting away, And it's like she's on a freedom run.
What kind of dog is she?
It's very hard to explain. She has lots of exercise, so she doesn't like that. And I wonder what it is that makes her always want to break free.
Yeah, what kind of dog is she, Marlene?
She's a Maltese cross with the licorice sort.
Love it, absolutely love it. And when you say she bolts, so she's coming back to you, or
Well,
you take her home
she
and
sees a
runs
crack
out?
in the door and she's gone. You know, and apart from that, she's really well behaved. But it is very worrying, and she dashes across the road, and
that's not good.
You know, and it really is hard work. You know, you have to really watch her.
The easiest option for this kind of thing, because she's got 3, is the easiest option for this kind of thing is to use a physical barrier. So maybe put a baby gate on that door, just so that she doesn't get out, and then you can start to do some training. Because the last thing you want is your little dog running out into the main road, because that can cause major accidents.
We put a barrier across the door, and
definitely.
you can see the outside, and she's. I wonder why she's running away, though.
So it will just be, don't take it personally, it's not running away from you. It will just be something out there is way more exciting than what she's got in the house.
I know, I remember when I was young.
Thing. Okay. Yeah, well, it's exactly the same thing, isn't it? So what kind of things are you providing for in the house so it's so she's got that
in the house? Oh,
yeah.
Anything. She just, she has a box full of toys, which she doesn't get out as much now as she used to do.
No,
and,
so are you
we
interacting?
have little play times, and
are you interacting?
and
with
we
those
go out
toys
every day for about an hour.
The other thing I would do,
I
just
can't
what
think
I'm
of
thinking.
anything else to do.
So one of the things I'm thinking, you always take her out the front door as well, I'm presuming on a lead.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I would change that. I would go out your back door, because you've made that front door really exciting, because that's where all the fun is, because she's out on the lead. So maybe swap that around and go out a different door, and that might change things, make that front door a little bit less. The other thing you can do is you can do some training, maybe get a trainer in to help you to get the downstay, so you can teach her some manners around the door. So every time the door's open, she does it down rather than running up. But you'd probably want to get a trainer in to help you with that one.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much.
No worries, thank you.
Bye.
Good luck, Marlene, with your little bolter there. And that's it. We have run out of time. Darren, thank you so much to you and Puppy for coming in today. And once again, if you want to enter that competition, Anna Stretton's Facebook, or they can go to yours as well, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. It's well worth it as well. Really cool T-shirt.
Excellent stuff. Darren, thank you so much. And if you want any more advice from Darren, go and have a look at their website, which is Mindfulness for Dogs, which is the number 4, mindfulnessfordogs.com.
You've been listening to Darren Rowe on The Mindful Dog, giving our canine friends a voice throughout the world. To find out more about what we do, visit our website at www.mindfulnessfordogs.com.